Dear all monks, all nuns, and all practitioners, for our practice, we always emphasize on the practice. On the practice, we simply ask the question. It rises to the doubt. Because we ask a question, then there must be a question, there must be an answer. So if we cannot answer it, then the doubt will rise. And then if we can maintain this doubt, then we will not go after with the other thoughts. That is the explanation from the patriarchs and good known advisors. So as a practitioner, we just always maintain the practice, keep it asking the question. So on the explanation from the Buddha and patriarch or good known advisors, the purpose for them is to help us to maintain the practice, to believe in our own mind. So if we can understand the intention of the Buddha or the good known advisors, then we just we will believe in our own mind. We will start practice strong, better. So on the interaction, on all the conditions that we encounter, we maintain the practice will not give rise to thought, differentiate, or get attached to. So not just on one matter, there's so many matters that will come up. So the patriots always, they keep reminding us, great task. We have to focus on the great task, not the small details, small task. And the other good advisors, even big tasks, great tasks, we look at them. We don't try to get attached to it. Make it small matters. Don't think it's too big. So when the small or little thing come up, we treat it as like no existent. Anybody can, almost everybody who understand these statements, but it's not easy to put in practice. If we consistently practicing on the practice, just consistently, and then if we keep the practice going, and then when we can maintain the doubt, then it will lead us to the final state. So because of a lot of thoughts keep coming in our mind, and if we get attached to it, then we will have a lot of affliction, not just the transcendental Dharma, but also the worldly Dharma. If we attach to them and we're thinking about it, then we will not be able to maintain practice. And then more likely, affliction will arise in our mind. So like the precepts, if we attach to the precepts, and then that is also would be a distraction with the practice as well. this has to do with the attachment, the mind that we attach, have a mind of attachment. We need to understand, have a clear understanding. So this is just a reminding, this is just a sharing for this morning. Anyone who has any question, you can bring it up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. We invite Kim In to speak. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. Dear all monks, all nuns, and the rest of the assembly. Dear Master, I have this thought about the practice. When beginning practicing, like when we start sitting, we begin the practice. Usually a lot of false thoughts will come in. And then about 1 minute of practice, then the false thought will eventually go away. And the practice, maintain the Tao, will come in. At the beginning, when we able to keep the practice going, and then we'll encounter the state of peacefulness. And then at that moment, we give rise to the thought of attaining. Like when you mentioned about diligence, and that's also considered to be and attached to the thought of attending. So can you point out this area on the practice? For our practice, we always counteract the habits, bad habits that we have, especially affliction habits, the habits of having affliction, self-attachment, from coarse to subtle, very subtle habits. So, and then also, sometimes we don't think that we have fear, we don't have a thought of attaining or gaining or seeking, but it's very subtle, we don't even recognize. So we need to rely on triple chain so that we can have the right view. And then we'll be able to recognize our mistakes, and we'll be able to go all the way, and eventually we'll be our own master. Let's say in this war, in this holy matters, the Buddha mentioned about seeing, hearing, acknowledging, and knowing. And if we just keep on this and keep differentiate things, have a thought of seeking, and then we try to explain things. And this is still hearing, seeing, acknowledging, knowing. This is, we still have, if we still have this attachment, then we will never get to the bottom line, which is the state of enlightenment. So if we know that we attain a state that's also considered to be seeing, hearing, acknowledging, or knowing. This is because we're still in a dream. So everything is still in a dream. If we rely on the good advisors with the right principle, with the right practice, then we'll be able to get out of the dream. It's just like the finger pointing to the moon, and we rely on the finger to see the moon. But because of our habits, we keep distracting. So for us as a practitioner, we just rely on the two, rely on the patriarch, good no advisor, and always keep the practice going. So just remember, we need to always remember the right Dharma is to eradicate the self. So eradicating the self is also believing the old mind. So any things that come up in our mind, just go back, return to the practice. So even if we understand, just like the Buddha, is still the hearing, seeing, hearing, acknowledging, and knowing. This is still in the duality. It's not truth yet. So the habits that we have, like if we can solve the one problem, one task, and then we attach to it, and then and sometimes we dwell on the state of peacefulness. And if we just keep going after the knowledge and view, this is just the still in the duality. And so the good no advisors always try to tell us by using the Buddha teaching and patriarch's teaching to tell us. So it's not about, I want to be right. I want to say things the right way and always have the right thought. This is just considered to be self-attachment as well. So any thought that coming in our mind, the patriarchs already warn us. Any thought that we notice or recognize, that is the considered to be one thought of ignorance. That is the thought of stealing, mind stealing. So even when we practice to the point that we keep this one thought for a long time, like example, like 1,000 days with this one thought for 1,000 days, we just keep that. If we don't get out of the dream, if we not breaking through the basic of ignorance, then we just keep doing it, keep maintaining practice. It's just like a 100-foot pole. When we get there, we just keep going. And I mentioned when we step one more step, then we get out of ignorance. But that is the expedient means. So all the talking, all the explanation it's just the explanation. So the importance here is to get to the final state, which is the true self. Do you understand what I tried to say? Yes, I do. Thank you. Dear Master, I have one more question. Lately, I have a friend. She shared with me. She said the thought of being afraid, of fear, came up, and she felt that she has some kind of fear in her mind, but she didn't know what that fear is. So can you explain this? Both body and mind, they have a connection. So the Buddha stated that the body, because of the false thoughts, is so firm. So this body that we have, it has to do with the mind. It has to, and the self-attachment that we attach to the self, it still has to do with the sixth consciousness. For example, like according to like our body, like when we live in the monastery, we feel peaceful. We feel everything is fine. But when we go to our home, go back to our home, then a lot of affliction come up because sometimes when we all of a sudden the thought will arise in our mind, like all of a sudden we feel sad, we feel and then we start thinking about others wrongdoing or shortcomings, and this has to do with the self-attachment, ignorance. So the fear will occur in our mind in the same manner. Sometimes there are a lot of things that we encounter in the past, and we have fear, but then and this fear will come up certainly in our mind. So some people, all kind of fears out there. Has to do with the habit of self-attachment. So the person who pay a lot of details on little things, that is the big self-attachment. That is because of the differentiation. In the world, people keep saying a person need to look at the person in the on the good side, on the positive side, not the bad side, not the not the negative side. So they give advice. They try to persuade us to see this, to think about the positive side on other people. But because of self-attachment, because of the habits, uh, we don't look at this. So the practice will help us. to leave behind this, good or bad. So if we can maintain the practice, eventually all these habits will go away. So without the practice, if we just live with the false thoughts, this kind of person, they will have a very good energy. It's just like they can emit this energy, and when they close to other people, the other people can feel this energy, feel this positive energy. It's just like a flower blooming. So if we keep maintain the practice, we don't have the self attachment. We don't have the differentiation thought in our mind. Then the mind will be stay with the mind is at peace, and we have a good energy, and it will also help the body as well. So it has nothing to do with the environment that we encounter or any condition that we encounter. It has to do with the mind. So there are many methods, many practice out there, but we need to practice in a way. It's just like we have to taking medication um, for the treatment. So it has to do with ourselves. We tie ourselves, so we need to untie ourselves. So the good advisors keep saying, if we want to get full, we need to eat. Nobody can eat for us to get full. Nobody can fill our tummy. We have to fill the tummy ourselves. So if we want to get enlightened, we get to be free and at ease. We need to practice. Do you understand what I try to say? Yes, I do. Thank you. I have one more question. I would like to present my practice. Dear Master, a few days ago, 2 days ago, in the afternoon while I was practicing at the Đăng temple. So yesterday I went to the temple, to the meditation hall from the hospital. When I entered the meditation hall, in the beginning, I asked a question very clearly. And I remember when I asked a question before heaven and earth came into existence, what was I? So I maintained the question. And when I hear the bell, I didn't hear the bell. But when I well, so all of a sudden I heard a little noise, people making little noise. Then I feel like, oh, it's time to stand up and do walking. So I only remember that when I start asking the question before heaven and earth came to existence, where was I? And then when I heard this noise, and then at that moment, I don't even know that I been asking the question. And the time seems to be very fast. Time passed by so quick. And I don't know if has to do with the sleepiness. And I just feel like the time passed by so quickly. So can you explain this? It's like like during the day we get so tired. Sometimes we get into sleepiness, and then it leads us to the state of sickness, and then maybe it leads us to the state of void. So it doesn't matter what state we encounter. Don't get attached to it. So we feel like we lose the practice. We forget the practice. Um, so if we're not careful, when we enter, especially um, the state that we think we assume that is good, then we will more likely to uh, uh, provoke or increase our self-attachment. So just return, go back to the practice. We're still in the dream. How can we avoid all this? That we can say we don't have a self attachment. We're still in the dream. We still have a self attachment. So it doesn't matter what state we encounter. Even if we see the patriarch or the Buddha, we just when we recognize when we see this, we go back to the practice. It's just like like when we study the Buddha Dharma, long before ago, we didn't understand, but all of a sudden we come to have a clear understanding. Uh, if we recognize this, know this, then we just go back to the practice. We don't get attached to any of this. If we happy about it, if we think that this is good, we fall into the deviant path. So we keep it going until we get to the final state, which is enlightenment. And when we get there, it's just like a person who drink the water, hot or cold. Then that person will know. So just keep the practice going. Don't pay attention to any state. So, so like Master Like Guam, when he has the thought of taking birth and death seriously, then he just keep the practice going. It doesn't matter what kind of mistake that he had committed. He just keep the practice going. But if we have a thought when we make a mistake and then we give rise to thought, oh, we need to repent, we need uh, to change, we should do this, should do that, then we lost the practice. We cannot be, we will not be able to maintain the practice. So like a person who has a thought, great task. I have to focus on the great task. I don't have to pay uh, attention to small details. If we have this thought in our mind, then we lost the practice right at that moment. Let's just keep maintain the practice. Just ask a question clearly, naturally. You understand what I try to say? Yes, I do. I feel like it's just a little thing. Uh, it seems like if we pay attention to just a little thing, then it misleads us to the wrong path. So thank you so much. We'll invite Pháp Thanh to speak. There are masters, all the monks, and everyone. I heard you have mentioned, you have explained the body, the human body is not easy uh, and to attain, to have. Buddha Dharma is not easy to encounter. And you mentioned about the rivers, the mountain, they don't have the intention to stop us, distract us, but it has to do with our mind. So all this saying, all this statement, so it's keep distracting me from my practice. So it's keep coming into my mind. Can you explain a little bit for me? This is the explanation from the patriarchs. So it's just like the Buddha's teaching. He tried to tell us to break through the self attachment. So I just try to repeat this explanation from the Buddha or from the patriarch. So if we have the outflow thought, that is the self-attachment. So all this is just for us to believe in our own mind. So sometimes we don't have because we unable to practice yet. So all this will help us to remind us. And so if we don't, if we're unable to practice yet, then we keep differentiate things all the time. Like when we see that we have progress in our practice, that is already considered to be a thought of stealing, uh, mind stealing. So if we already practice, familiar with the practice, so we just keep the practice going. So when we're talking about inflow or outflow, so if we forget the practice, then we don't even know, even recognize we have outflow thought or inflow thought. So the practice is already, you keep the doubt, that's already inflow. Like the statement say, maintain the practice, then stop all the understanding, the contemplating. So this is just the expedient skills. Example analogy, like when we the multiplication table. In the beginning, when we listen to the teacher saying that we need to memorize it, and then when we memorize it using the expedient means from the teacher, after we memorize it, and then we just put into practice automatically. We don't need to pay attention to the memorization anymore. Just like another example, like so all this expedient means if we already understand the definition of skillful means, the And then we keep the practice going. And just like the multiplication table, when we get familiar with it and we use it to practice, and then we practice thoroughly, we're good already, then the multiplication is still in our mind without. So just keep the practice going. Time is up. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.